They are in that TvZ. We got an update. This just in. Wayne, oh my god. The TvZ Poppy, he takes down Dark 2-1 and he 2-0'd Dong Rei Gu. Wayne, Bobby, if I'm not mistaken, for the first time in the semifinals. This is his series. It would be crazy. All right, bear with me. It would be crazy if Solar takes down Clem and then Wayne takes down Solar in the semifinals. And he makes it to the finals purely off of ZBZ. That would be wild. It's possible. It's possible. But I'm getting ahead of myself. As we're diving into the quarterfinals and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate, we have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Team Onside. It is Solar. Here we go. Of course, Solar being the most recent GSL champion. Did make it all the way, winning his first GSL in a long time. I know Solar, he's won SSLs. Has he won a GSL before? I can't quite recall, I'll be honest. I know that in years past he was more dominant form, and he did win an SSL at least, but I can't quite recall the GSL history. As we're settling into our ZVT, and again, this is going to be no easy feat. Solar, he may have won a GSL, but Clem is still the best Terran player in all of Europe, one of the best Terran players in the world. Looking to fight back, looking to go even further in this tournament. And Clem, he's had a bit of a, I was going to say a bit of a shaky start here, but again, that was in TVPs, that was against Protoss players, and likewise, even Solar has been made to bleed, as we saw in that previous series against Geralt. So not too indicative of how this series will unfold. Even earlier than that, if you were here for it, we casted Solar versus Spirit. And Solar versus Spirit, even though it was a 2-0, it was close. Like Spirit, he had some very strong moments. Honestly, I would say that Solar's early game and early to mid game was a little bit lacking. And Spirit would often get ahead. He would often roast up a mineral line, kill workers, kill bases, like... Spirit would have really strong starts to both. He had really strong starts to game 1 and game 2, but it was in the mid game where Spirit did falter. And we'll see if Clem can rise where Spirit did fall. For now, Reaper's going to be dipping in, dancing with these Lings. Solo going for his third hatchery on time. Again, hatch gas pool standard open here from Solo. He does make an extra pair of Lings though. I'm sure was hoping to catch this Reaper off guard. The Reaper does escape, and likewise, Solar doesn't lose any Lings. Behind this, Clem going for a very economic opener. It was a Rax expand into a third CC before Starport. Again, very economic here from Clem. Getting to that faster third CC. And there's that Starport on the way. We're not going for any kind of 2-1-1 variation or anything like that. Add-on swap is upon us, and the Hellion production should be commencing. There are some Terran players that have been playing around with Cyclones first instead of Hellions. The main player that does that in current StarCraft, or in this latest patch at least, is Cure. Cure is very fond of going for Cyclone-based openers. And we've seen players like Gumiho and Spirit mix it in every now and then as well. We can see Clem not messing around with that too much, just flying on the Hellions. A little bit more traditional here. Do love to see it. So Clem is moving out. Behind this, going for a Viking first. Interesting choice, which means he is not going for the add-on swap. Viking going to be hunting down these overlords, and they're going to be keeping Solar in the dark as to what is going on. Queens are going to be rotating over. They're getting in position, keeping up with the movement of these Hellions. I'm curious. Okay, there we go. Stim is on the way. So instead of going for an add-on swap into Banshees, Clem is going for a Viking into Stim. Into that lift. Very interesting. I do think that this is a pretty good move against Solar, as the Hellions, they keep trying to test the waters. But what I mean by that is that Banshee openers are typically ideal, and they keep you safe against Roach-based play, or even a Roach opener from the Zerg player. A player like Dark, for example, does that quite often. Solar, less so. Solar, he's more of a Ling Bane boy. So yeah, that's why I'm all for going for Hellion Lib instead. The goal here is the Liberator is going to be going towards either the main base or the third, going to be threatening the mineral line and ideally forcing the Queens to respond, forcing the Queens to be pulled out of position, and then the Hellions can slip in. Bit of a 1-2 punch. You can see the Vikings going to be trying to cut a path and zoning back these Overlords, making sure that Solar has as little reaction time as possible to deal with this Lib. But we do have Spores in position. These two Spores are designed to shut down Liberator specifically. That's why they're not in the mineral line. And they do get a couple of hits in. Quick reaction out of Solar. Does recognize what's going on. Does keep up. Lair now on the way. At the same time, Hellions, they try to find a way in. But once again, the Queens are keeping up with those Hellions. And so far, a good defense. A good defense from Solar. He's able to keep up. Liberator is stuck in the corner. And Clem lands his third CC on location. Getting into his 1-1 upgrades. Getting into his E-base. And getting into the mid-game. Now what's important is that Clem hasn't lost anything. Sure, he hasn't dealt any damage yet. Oh, as the Hellions, they dive into the natural. They catch one drone and then they get the hell out of there. Very careful play here from Clem. Likewise, unsieges Lib just in time. Does pivot away towards that main. Again, just really careful play here from Clem. Looking for a way in, looking for any kind of slip up from Solar. And because he keeps everything alive, like there's still so much potential for damage. Looking at the units type, only a single Reaper has gone down for Clem. Likewise, on the counter side of things, Solar hasn't really lost anything either. He lost one Overlord to the Viking, one drone, and one Ling. So far, both players, they have been keeping up with each other. This game, for the most part, has been a game of positional play. It's been all about rotating and keeping up with the movement of your opponents. But here we go, Clem going for a double drop on the right-hand side. Hellion still threatening the left. Solar, he's drawn up to 75. Going to be double expanding, taking his 4th and his 5th base. As Solar even threw down that Hydra Den, going Ling Bane Hydra. Hydra range is on the way. Drop going into the main. Oh. He's going to be picked up. At the same time, Hellions, they head straight for that 4th. And the 4th looking very exposed. Where are the Queens? The Queens are not here. The Lings aren't either. Solar, he was keeping up for so long, but it only could last for so long. Good positional play here as we get into those Hellbats. Using the terrain against Solar. Bailey's going to be rolling on in. At the same time, here comes a double drop. Going for the Queens. Transfuses are going to be good enough. The Queens, they do hold on. But Solar, he's falling apart a little bit here. The mines. Widow mines have borrowed. Mine shot's going to be going off as well. And oh, decent connections, but we still have Banelings left over. Meanwhile, we drop into the main. Solar, he just cannot keep up. All it took was one wrong move, one moment, and things just snowballed out of control. All it takes is one domino to fall, and then everything crumbles. Oh, the target fight. Oh, God. The one Bailey. We do barely take down the Bailey. Lings are going down. GG gets called. Solar does get pulled apart, and Clem takes game number 1. GG. God, that entire game, that entire first, I mean, it only lasted like less than 9 minutes, but like the first 7 minutes of that game was so tense. It was just constant back and forth between them. No one really losing anything, no one really letting up or relenting. And again, all it takes is one moment. One wrong move. Clemmy found it. Was able to find it in the end. GG. Well played. Game 1 in the books, and now we're getting into game number 2. Ooh, and it looks like a bunch of the other casters are going to be joining us here. Looks like... unless he was already here. I think Steadfast has now joined us. I think Roddy was already here. Yo, we got TKL casting in French. We got Indy, of course, casting in Polish. Let's go. We're all converging. Here we go. Clem is nuts. No chill at all. Telling you, mate, you give Clem an inch and he takes a mile. Now we're getting into game number 2. And that's TvZ for you. Like, just things can escalate very quickly. And we'll see if we'll see how things do turn out here in game number 2. Is spawning in the top left-hand corner. We have our French Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Leading the series 1-0. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar. we have light casting in Australian, mate. Oh, true. I can't even do it a proper Aussie accent. Ay. Oh my god. You know, we're just covering all the languages out there. You know, Wardy, he's casting in British. British. Steadfast and American. There you go. Or, I guess, technically Canadian. We don't actually have an American stream today. True. Maybe Roddy counts. Maybe he's close enough. As we're getting into our second game here. Again, Clem with a solid lead so far. But it's still a best of 3. Could go either way. Personally, I want an ace match. I want this to go the distance and go all the way to game 3, but it's not in my hands. Tis up to our players. Tis up to Solar. So far, Hatch Gas Pool. Standard opener here out of Solar. Likewise, Clem going for a Rax expand. Not doing anything crazy. Not going for a CC first. Catching up. As someone who never has been nor intends to set foot on Australia, it does seem like a pretty cool country. It's you know, it's okay. Except for the rapacious wildlife stalking you at every corner. Just start saying Struth and crikey. Crikey, mate. True. Oh god. Yeah, you get used to the wildlife. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, if you live in the city, like, you're not gonna have to deal with like spiders and snakes and stuff. It is something that I deal with here. I do live, like, you know, further inland, not like on the coast or anything like that. I mean, I'm relatively close to the coast. I'm like an hour drive, like 40-minute drive. Hours more apt. Hours more apt. There have been times, though, where there have been spiders the size of my... I mean, I think there's a story. This is what happened. It was like maybe 3 months ago, in the middle of a cast. It was in the middle of a WTL cast. There was a spider the size of my palm that was right behind my monitor, and it all happened during the cast as well, where I suddenly stopped talking, and I and I went for it, and it dropped on my modem. The spider dropped because my modem is like right next to the curtain. It's like right behind the monitor. It dropped on the modem, and it cut the internet. the internet dropped, and like suddenly, I think you heard on stream, you heard me say like, "Wait a minute." You heard me go silent, and then like you heard like a noise, and then like I DC'd. I just disconnected. And no one knew what happened. They're like, wait, what happened to light? What happened? And I was in the midst of a fierce battle against the spider. I won, though. I did win, and I was able to continue casting once my internet returned. Oh god. It's fine. It was fine. But yeah, that has happened once. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, we're getting back into this. We're getting back into into the swing of things, as we do have a 3cc opener here from Clem, going 3cc into Banshee. Overlord does come in for the scout, and Solar, he does end up seeing that starport alongside Cloak being researched. So Solar, he's fully aware of the Cloak Banshee opener. Very stark contrast, winding it back, very stark contrast. Remember, game 1, Clem actually didn't go for Banshee. He went for faster stim, he went for a Liberator instead, and went for faster drop play as a result. This time he's going into Banshee production. So Clem is mixing it up, is going for a very different form of economic opener. It's still 3cc, but again, going to be working with Banshees instead. Hellions once again are going to be looking for a way in. Additional Hellions are coming in to reinforce. Going to be threatening the third base or the natural. At the same time, Banshee dips into the natural. And drones are going to be going down. We get one. So far, only one. A lot of lost mine time as well. Denying mining here of the gas guys. As the queens, they have to rotate around, which means the Hellions have an opening. Solar, though, he is able to keep up. Oh my god. Oh. Clem, he almost saw a way in, but Solar, he does react in time, does rotate with his queens. Banshees, they find the fourth base, so they're going to force a cancel. Yeah, there's no saving this hatchery. Oh my god. The cancel is forced. At the same time, Hellions, they almost find a way into that third base once again, but Solar, he's keeping up. As I say that, where's the detection? Overseer coming in. And the queens are saved, but this is still a big delay on the fourth. Clem continuing to shock around. Now, what's important is that Clem, sure, he may not have killed any workers here, but what do we see? We see the lack of creep. No creep shred here at all outside this third base because of these Hellions. Again, Clem, he's done a great job of just keeping that creep at bay. As he just bypasses, he goes straight for the natural. He dives in. There's no turning back. We have to commit. We commit all the way into the natural base. There is no armory. Drones are going down, but we get surrounded. And was this worth it? Every single Hellion goes down for 7 drones, trading 1 for 1. Yeah, 8 Hellions for 7 drones. We did deal economic damage, that's true, but not what we really wanted. Not on the same level as game 1. Remember, game 1, he killed 11, I think it was 11 or 12 drones, and he also morphed into Hellbats, trading well with the Lings. Meanwhile, Solar, he cleans that up. We do have a double drop making its way towards the third. But again, this time, Solar, his attention isn't going to be pulled apart. This time, he doesn't have to worry about a Hellion dive or a Hellion counterattack. He can focus everything on the drop play. Hydras are in production. Creep is being spread. The double drop still does back off, still does threaten the bases. Meanwhile, we have 4cc on the way, so Clem is not going for a 3-base all-in. Gases are being taken. 4th CC in production. Eventually, we should be working towards a, there we go, second factory here at the natural. Clem is looking for a longer game. Likewise, up! Do manage to connect with some of those Marines. Drop making its way towards the main base. At the same time, we do have another push here towards the north. Clem going for his multi-prong attack. Trying to pull Solar out of position. But the Lings, they do get here just in time. How good are the mine shots? Up! Oh my god! Massive connection on those Lings. Thankfully, didn't connect with the Baylings, but a good trade nonetheless. For only a single Widow Mine. And Clem, he keeps this southern double drop alive. We have reinforcements on the way, turning it into a 4 medevac drop. Quadruple drop, if you will. And as Clem keeps the attention on most of the Ling Bane here towards the north, what do we have here towards the south? We have Queens. Only Queens to defend. And they're being pulled out of position. Here comes the army! Solar, he didn't have eyes on this. We can go straight for the hatchery, and the hatchery is going to go down. It's going to be a kill on the 5th base. Oh! Oh my god, we avoid the Baylings. We trade well. Oh, the target firing! Oh my god! Did cost us... Did connect, though. We had good target firing to begin with, but half the Marines did go down. Some brutal connections. But Clem, he's not stopping. He's not slowing down. Coming in once again. And he wants those queens. Gonna be able to chase him back. Widowmines are getting in position. Oh, the queens barely don't go down. But now they do. Mine shots go off. 2 queens fall. Clem is going to be forced back. But you can see that Clem, things are slowly snowballing in his favor. Solar working towards his lurker den. Oh my god. As we cannot chase off of creep. Bailey's being forced back. This time, good target firing out of Clem. Some of the medevacs are exposed. One medevac goes down. We do clean this up for the most part, but here comes another army. Clem just not allowing Solar to breathe. It's going to take a while for the Baileys to respond, but we should have enough to keep up. Mine's just going to be baited out. Oof. Only cleaning up Lings. And Solar's holding. He is holding on. Cleans up the mines as well. Lurker den is done. We need lurkers. 100. We need lurkers here and now because here comes another army. Clem is maxed. The lurker den is done, but we are only relying on Lingbane Hydra. And here comes Clem. Up in army supply. Banelings will not connect. And there are just too many Hydras here. Not enough Lingbane. The Lings are going down, and Clemmy can keep on pushing. Go straight for the hatchery. Oh, Fungals do not connect. And Solar, he's hurting. He's hurting so much right now. Pushing from the north, diving into that mineral line. This time, Clem going for the drones. Solar, his mineral lines, they've been left untouched for so long, but 6 drones go down. Solar's got Hive Tech. He's working on Adrenal, +3 Carapace. I believe he doesn't have the Lurker upgrades, just now starting range. We are so reliant here on these Fungals. If we get some good Fungal growths, maybe we can defend, but without them, I don't see it happening. Decent connection, but there's not enough Lingbane. Nah, we only had 2 Fungals. Here dives into the main base. Widow Mine Shot's gonna go off. Connecting with those Banelings. And we just cannot chase this off of creep again. Because of how aggressive Clem has been, there's barely any creep out on the map. Solar has been contained. But the lurkers have arrived. Finally, the lurkers, they do make their appearance. And Clem with Biomine, with Marines, Marauders, and Widow Mines, you cannot push into lurkers. We need ghosts, we need liberators. Speaking of, they're the ghosts. Not quite where they need to be, where the lurkers are, but ghosts have hit the field. And there we go, they're rotating towards the south. Ghosts have arrived. Second starport is on the way for Liberator production. Banshees have arrived. The Banshee from the early game finally going to go down, which is probably a good thing. We probably need to clear up some supply. Fusion core is on the way for Liberator range. Snipes go up. Oh, up. Oh my god. One lurker does go down. The second lurker as well. Good pickups here from Clem, not losing anything. That's a lot of Widow Mines. It's a lot of Widow Mines, and the Queens are going to be going down. Solar, he has to react. He has to respond. Mine shots are going to be going off at the same time. Oh, he's just being pulled apart. These lurkers are exposed. Another lurker gets sniped. And again, lurkers without support, they're so vulnerable. As you can see, they're getting picked off one after the other. And every single lurker is going to go down. We have 1 left. We have 0 left. Like, lurkers could be good units, but they need Lingbane to help buffer, to keep them alive, to keep them safe and sound. Big EMPs! They cover the Infestor. And the Viper as well. There's Liberator range and production. Solar, he dives on these Marines. Gonna be able to trade well. Gets a medevac. Like, Solar, he is maxed out. He has been hurting. Do we have any lurkers left? We do not. So we're just going to be relying on Lingbane, Hydra Viper, which is a pretty mobile composition. It's not bad. Not bad at all. I believe Nidus Warden has completed, so we can, there we go for some Nidus play. So he needs to do some counter damage. But the Nidus has been spotted. Oof. Big mind shots. Now, this is where Solar is hoping that Clem maybe overmakes Ghost and Libs. A Ghost, a very, like, heavy Ghost Lib army with Bio, of course, can be surrounded, can be dealt with by Lingbane Hydra. In high enough numbers. Not like this, though. Lings are going down. Big snipes going off as well on the Hydras. Clem is gaining ground. Oof. Every single Hydra gets sniped. Oh my god. The friendly fire taking down a Medivac. Ay, ay, ay. Not a bad moment for a Solar overall. Could have been better though. I did lose a lot of Hydras. But Solar, he is up on 86 workers. Working on 3-3. Likewise, Infestor as well, burrowing behind the army. Looking for a fungal. He's ready for it. Soon to be ready for it. As the game is settling down from here. And Clem does have the better bank, denies the center base. Liberation has arrived. The freedom. The freedom is here. Can Solo deal with this? So far, he cannot engage. Liberator's just bullying him back. At the same time, though, we see Solo going straight for trying to engage with the planetary. He barely cannot. Oh my god! Massive mind shot. Connects with the Lingbane. Oof. Yeah, Clem, he is slowly gaining more ground. The Liberator is just dishing out so much damage. We catch a Spore. Oh! Clem, though, not looking for a moment. Does take one Baneling to the face. We're going to keep engaging, but off go the mine shots. Oh my god. We land the fungal, but there's nothing to follow up the fungal. There's nothing left to engage. At the same time, we do collapse on the planetary. Planetary is going to be going down, but the bio army cleans up everything else. Was this worth it for Solar? Is he bleeding out too much? Solar, he's remaxing with pure Ling Hydra. He's pushing forward. Liberators are going down. And it looks like Solar, he will barely break through. Oh my god. Just barely. He's got 2 Hydras left. 1 Hydra left. But Clem, he can keep on pushing. And again, these were expensive losses for Solar. Losing 35 Hydras this game. He's only got 2 left, and they're also going to get sniped. And it looks like Clem, he breaks through. There's just not enough Zerg on the ground. Solar running out of steam, and Clem will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. Clem looking dominant in game 1, and even dominant here in game number 2. Game 2 did last a lot longer than game 1, obviously, and Solar, he was... the difference is, though, or the problem here for Solar was that he was fighting to survive. He never really had any momentum. He was never able to really win any fights either. He was just stuck on his side of the map. We saw the one time where he was able to counterattack and kill the planetary towards the end of the game, but he threw away so many Banelings, killing that planetary where he just didn't really have anything left to survive the counterattack. Like, he was just... It felt like Solar was treading water the entire time. He was just treading water against Clem, and... yeah, Clem was almost in full control of that entire game. GG. I think what's crazy, again, to put things into context, as we are switching servers, is that final push from Solar where he killed the planetary, I think that was the only time that entire game where Solar was able to do some economic damage. Like, he didn't really kill any SCVs. We didn't get to see any Ling run-bys or Baneling counterattacks or any kind of pushes that ever threatened a base of Clem until the very end, where eventually he did get on top of a planetary. But that was the only moment. Outside of that, it was Solar basically stuck defending. Solar defending. the entire time. GG, well played. Clem will advance on to the semifinals, and it looks like we have our next series. It looks like it's going to be Clem versus Wayne after the upper semi. So Clem and Wayne, they're going to be on hold. They are going to be on hold.